infographic, right? It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, listen, check this out. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you about this week in comics, and then we're going to get right into a little bit of something else really quick, a nice little announcement. So we got Astonishing X-Men, issue number 6. All right, listen, what happens here is we get a huge return, okay? I'm going to tell you in a sense, because it's not fully accepted yet. Professor X is back, all right? Professor X actually makes his way back to the universe. He's been dead for a while. He was killed by Cyclops a couple of years ago back in the X-Men versus Avengers storyline, which was devastating, all right? And in this, we actually get him back, but he's not the full and proper Professor X. You're going to have to read that comic to get a little bit more on that. In fact, I was actually reading that comic in that infographic you just saw. Yeah, wow. Amazing comic. On top of that, we're going to have Avengers number 674, where somebody else dies. That's right. A former Avenger and a current champion dies. We were expecting it. We were told somebody was going to die. We all guessed who it was, and when it actually happened, it kind of hurt. It kind of hurt just a little bit, but you know what? We'll see her again. Yeah, her. That's the only hint you're going to get. Batman, issue number 36. Guys, I'm going to put this up with one of my absolute all-time favorite Batman comics ever. Yeah, it was actually that good. Batman and Catwoman are due to be married. They're engaged. And this issue right here has Batman deciding whether or not he should go to his best friend, that's Superman, and explain what's going on. Meanwhile, Superman's getting all sorts of feelings hurt because Batman hasn't called him yet, and everybody knows about it, but he hasn't called him up and said, hey, you want to talk? You want to hang out? So when they're forced to meet with each other, things get really awkward. Unfortunately, Lois Lane and Selina are more than happy to iron things out. Okay, we're not finished with Batman yet. We got Batman White Knight issue number 3. This is a limited series, and this is really good. It's an Elseworlds construct, meaning it's not in the proper DC universe. This is a Batman story where we find that the Joker is called Jack Napier, just like the old Michael Keaton film, and it turns out that he's actually found a cure for his insanity. Is it real? Is it not? It seems like it's real, and he's actually starting to be a better Batman than Batman himself, because what is the Batman without the Joker? You actually get to find out in this, and it's wild. Moving on, we got Darth Vader issue number 9. Do you remember Jocasta Nu? She was the librarian for the Jedi Archives, and she was kind of rude to Obi-Wan, right? But we get a little bit of an insight as to why, and she has to fight the Grand Inquisitor that you've seen from Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, she actually challenges him. Doesn't do such a terrible job, but all of a sudden she gets interrupted by the guy whose title is in the book. Yeah, Darth Vader. So we're going to move on to Iron Fist, issue number 75. Guys, do you have a bad taste in your mouth because of the Iron Fist Netflix series? Get rid of that, because Ed Brisson is writing this comic, and it is amazing. It is superb. And the most beautiful part about this is that Sabretooth, Wolverine's bitter rival, his main arch enemy, is in this also. And usually Sabretooth is just like a throwaway villain for everybody except for Wolverine. Well, in this, he gets some serious respect. He gets mad props, yo. It's actually really cool. I'm in love with the way that Brisson is writing this. I'm actually to the point where I want to tell Marvel, don't let anybody else write for Sabretooth, because Ed Brisson, killing it. We're going to move on, and we're going to talk about Venom Ink Alpha. Yeah. I don't usually get into Venom comics because although I love the character, I'm usually not a huge fan of how he's written in the comics either. I'm going to change that up a little bit. Venom Ink Alpha is part 1 of 6. We're going to cross over into 2 Venom issues and 2 Spider-Man issues, Amazing Spider-Man specifically, and then we're going to end it up with Venom Ink Omega. Nice little roundup there, right? And this story is turning out to be pretty cool, man. There's an interesting topic here where Venom and Spider-Man are forced to meet up to defeat a much more powerful enemy, it seems. An enemy that's trying to control symbiotes. And Flash Thompson gets returned. He used to be the space version of Venom. Well, let's just say that he has another encounter with the long since missing anti-Venom. And it may not be what you think. Guys, we're going to move on to some indie comics now, and we're going to start off with Star Trek Next Generation Mirror Broken, issue number 5 of 5. IDW writes this, and this is easily the best Star Trek fiction I've ever read before. All right. I'm talking, it's better than anything I've ever read from them. It's better than anything I've ever seen from them. This is amazing. And clearly you have to already know who the Star Trek Next Generation cast is in order to understand what's going on. But when you see this Mirrorverse version of them, a very different one where there's an empire, the Starfleet Empire instead, and they're about to be obliterated by the Cardassian and Klingon team up that's going on. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I'm, wow, absolutely blown away by how good this series is. Actually about to write in and complain that they don't make more, because this is phenomenal. And I want to see this universe explored so much more than just these simple 5 issues. This was amazing. On top of that, we're going to move over to Batman teaming up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Part 2. Now, check this out. This was just a simple character concept, and they're like, people were clamoring for IDW to actually make this into a comic. They did. It turned into a miniseries. When it ended, it wasn't enough for people, and they went, you know what? Dude, ballistic, we need more. So they made another series, and issue 1, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Batman, version 2 just dropped. And what happens is Bane shows up in the city, and the Mutant Ninja Turtles and Batman alone aren't enough to handle what Bane's thrown at them. So you got to bring the Bat family in on this also. This is a crazy comic, and I love how absolutely irreverent they are with the characters. It's just like, you know what? Represent them as much as possible and just have them go fully automatic, and it's great. I think that you're going to love this. All right, guys. After that, I've got one more thing to announce. I've got a new series that I'm going to start over on Comic Book University, and I'm going to actually explain the MSH RPG, the Marvel Superheroes Advanced Role-Playing Game, the rules through the FASERIP system. I'm going to explain all that on select videos on my channel. I will be dedicating an entire playlist to it and everything. I'm going to try and make this into a fully weekly series. On top of that, adding to the Marvel file the Marvelous file over on Nerdarchy.com, and I'm going to be doing the weekly the weekly articles based off of what I'm doing in these videos. So the video will explain, but so much it will give examples of what I'm talking about in the article. So you read the article to get the actual finite rules. Come on over, swing on over to Comic Book University, check out the actual file where you can see the stuff done in action. You get an actual physical kinesthetic example of how to implement those rules. And I'm going to hope to make this into something really cool. And we'll see what happens from that point on. What I do have here is the infographic for that. Except that's not all I've got. Guys, check this out. During the Mondays, today's Nerdarchy game, we're actually supposed to have special guest Jim Davis from WebDM. Now, normally we have the writer, director, and editor. Yeah, all 3 of those. Travis Bowles with us. Unfortunately, he can't be here because he's got prior obligations with family. Nobody could ever put it past him that this guy is dedicated to the game and everything, and it's a shame that he's got to be gone, but priorities, man. You gotta take care of family. I get it. I'm an Italian. I know what it's like. So that being the case, Travis will have to sit this one out. Jim Davis, we ambushed him in the chat. There was a live chat recently for Nerdarchy at noon, and we bombarded him. He's like, okay, fine. I'll do it. I'll show up. We twisted his arm. So he's going to have to roll his percentile dice with the other arm. That's okay. Deal with it, buddy. So he's going to be playing with us, and it should be pretty cool. Maybe one of these days we could even get John Pruitt over. We'll see. But for now, that's pretty cool. Okay. Once again, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.
Thank you.